Part 142. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1421. Finally found an opportunity to leave the side of the Will Ghost King. Young master, don't walk around after you go out. The Ghost Kings who followed Wu Yu up were all old guys who were appointed by the Will Ghost King, and one or two of them were Wu Yu's uncles. Uncle, of course, was the name used to address the white-eyed Ghost King. After all, they were the elders who watched Wu Yu grow up. Don't worry, elders and uncles, although I came up with this idea, my father wanted to train me and let me come out to train with you elders, but I know that my strength is average, so I will be active near the star guarding array. You can go out on patrol, don't worry about me, hee hee. You're not going out with us. The Ghost Kings looked at each other. They thought that Wu Yu was going to do something big just now. Wu Yu said awkwardly, "Those immortals are not weak. The elders may not have time to look after me. If I am captured by accident, it will be terrible. My father will be in a passive position." The Ghost Kings were depressed. Wu Yu could come up with such an idea. They thought he had changed. As a result, he was exposed as soon as he came out. He was still the guy who bullied the weak and feared the strong. Elder uncles, you must work hard and catch more. In this way, my father will also think that I have made contributions. Hee hee. Wu Yu, with the character of the white-eyed Ghost King, is shameless, and this makes his performance more vivid. Okay, you just stay in the star protection formation and don't run around, so that I don't have to look for you. One of the uncles of the white-eyed Ghost King, the Zhanghu Ghost King, said impatiently. Uncle, please. Obviously, the group of people that these Will Ghost Kings trust the most still think that Zai Mao is more reliable than Wu Yu. They left Wu Yu and the star guarding formation and went out for patrol. Wu Yu was active near the star guarding formation and did not leave it. After they disappeared, Wu Yu also waited for a while. If he had just come out and immediately changed into Chifeng Immortal Lord to go in, it would inevitably make people suspicious, and it would not be easy for these Ghost Kings to find immortals outside. Gu Ru Shenjun and others should hide. Wu Yu waited for about 5 hours. Suddenly, he changed into Chifeng Immortal Lord and moved around in this Will King star with a new identity. At this time, he quickly performed the law of heaven and earth, changing his body to be extremely small, and then with a whoosh, he quietly entered the underground magma in the garrison of the Will King army. After all, the body is too small, and it is very convenient to move. Wu Yu has been to the place of the 10,000 colors thunder ball several times, and this time he is also familiar with it. Soon after, he saw the presence of the Will Ghost King, Zhao Yuanchen, Zimu and other Ghost Kings in the distance. At present, the Will Ghost King is helping Zhao Yuanchen to recover. Zhao Yuanchen is still controlled by the soul-driving nightmare technique and has lost his mind. This is equivalent to that his body has been taken over by the Will Ghost King in a short period of time. In the 10,000 hells, there are many such evil ways, and the ghosts and gods in hell will not prohibit them, so the 10,000 hells are indeed much more dangerous than the heavenly palace. Wu Yu certainly would not alarm them directly. He quietly went around to the other side of the 10,000 colors thunder ball. There was another Ghost King guarding here, mainly to prevent some scoundrels from breaking in, but now the star protection array has been opened, so he is more relaxed for the time being. After all, he is a Ghost King, and Wu Yu dare not be careless. At this time, he has used all the methods to strengthen his body and used all the world's power, and all of them are the power of immortals. After all, almost all those who were swallowed before were immortals, so his whole body of power is now almost completely immortal. Finally I have a chance to try it. Zhao Yuanchen was able to receive preferential treatment from the electric snake, so as an immortal, he should be able to do so as well. Wu Yu held his breath and rushed towards the colorful thunder ball at the fastest speed. For a moment, thunder roared. Hu, the Ghost King on guard, spotted Wu Yu at once, but at that moment, Wu Yu had already rushed past him and approached the colorful thunder ball. Stop! The Ghost King immediately used the power of the heavenly rules to try to stop Wu Yu, but at this time, Wu Yu used a teleportation and appeared in another direction. In the blink of an eye, he was already very close to the colorful thunder ball. This Ghost King, under this situation, could not help him. Prison Master, an immortal is coming in, the Ghost King was shocked. In that instant, he had already felt Wu Yu's power and confirmed that this was an immortal. On the other side, the Ghost King and others heard it immediately. They were all extremely shocked because it was impossible. Everyone quickly moved here, including the controlled Xuanhuan Chen. When they arrived here, Wu Yu was about to enter the 10,000 colors thunder ball. He looked back and happened to meet the eyes of the Will Ghost King. Stop! The Will Ghost King had a fierce look in his eyes and chased him directly with his body. His body was in a perfect state and was quite powerful. Without saying a word, Wu Yu had already rushed into the 10,000 colors thunder ball. When he arrived, those electric snakes automatically made way for him, and the extent was about the same as Xuanhuan Chen. Relying on his strong physical strength, Wu Yu rushed directly inside. He used his body to open a passage, and then was quickly swallowed by endless electric snakes. At this time, the Will Ghost King caught up with a gloomy face, but what he faced was 20 times the power of Wu Yu's thunder. Those electric snakes were completely enraged and bombarded his body frantically. However, the Will Ghost King was the prison master after all, the strongest existence in this starry sky hell. Even with 20 times the power of thunder, he entered the 10,000 colors thunder ball and maintained the same forward speed as Wu Yu. You can't go far, surrender quickly. I'll leave you a way out. This chapter is not over yet, please click on the next page to continue reading. The voice of the Will Ghost King was like a storm. Wu Yu lowered his head and supported the violent thunder around him with his powerful Vajra body. There were two world forces outside that separated him, and the bombardment on his body was only 1/20th of the Will Ghost King, so he was very relaxed at the moment. Although the Will Ghost King was chasing him from behind, Wu Yu was not afraid of him. He concentrated on his own way. His only opponent was the terrifying billions of electric snakes. Now the whole world was covered by thunder. It was extremely uncomfortable in it. The deeper he went, the more uncomfortable he felt. Will it be in here? The 10th grade Immortal King Seal, Wu Yu looked deeper. In fact, at this time, he didn't care about anything. Although, from the outside, the size of the 10,000 colors thunder ball was fixed and slightly expanding, but moving forward in it seemed endless, and there was no way to know where the end was. Therefore, he was advancing under the horrible pressure and lethality. After all, Xuanhuan Chen could advance so deep. He had a huge physical advantage and was still very hopeful. On the contrary, the Ghost King of the Will behind him was slowly thrown away by him. He had been threatening behind him before, but Wu Yu could not hear his voice anymore. In fact, at this time, the Ghost King of the Will had been blasted out. Father, Zi Mao was shocked. He did not expect that the Ghost King of the Will would come out first. The Ghost King of the Will had a livid face and was extremely irritable. Even when Zi Mao came to help him, he was thrown away. This man is so powerful. More powerful than us catching Xuanhuan Chen, the other Ghost Kings were shocked. No, but his physical body seems to be particularly strong and can withstand a lot of thunder. The Ghost King of the Will was very anxious. He could not catch up with Wu Yu now. Even if Xuanhuan Chen, whose injuries had not recovered, was allowed to catch up with Wu Yu, he could not catch up with Wu Yu. What should I do now, Daddy? Zi Mao was also anxious. If someone else took away the 10th grade Immortal King Seal at the door of his house. Now, there is no way, but even if he can take it, I will not let him go out, the Will Ghost King shouted angrily. At this time, he stretched out his hand to offer sacrifices, and a huge black millstone appeared in his hand. This black millstone was dark and heavy, and many scenes of hell were carved on it. They were all purgatory and lifelike. This must be a top-level Taixu artifact. Hell Soul Wheel. Even the name of the Will Ghost King came from this Taixu artifact. This is the secret treasure of the Will Ghost King. At this time, the Will Ghost King threw this treasure, and the Hell Soul Wheel expanded rapidly for a while. Suddenly, endless darkness had already enveloped everyone present, including the entire 10,000 colors Thunder Ball, in this Taixu artifact. Even if he can get the 10th grade Immortal King seal, he can't do without my magic weapon, the Ghost King of the Will was very confident. From the outside, a huge black wheel has replaced the position of the 10,000 colors Thunder Ball. The volume of this wheel is more than 10 times that of the 10,000 colors Thunder Ball. It is an indestructible bunker. Zi Mao and others were relieved. But the Ghost King of the Will was still very angry. The star protection array is still intact. How did this person get in? Zi Mao said, maybe he came in and hid before the star protection array was opened. There are immortals who can hide in our Will King star without being discovered. Once we catch this person, we must thoroughly investigate the Will King star again, the Ghost King of the Will said. Next, they waited silently. Wu Yu didn't know that a huge Taixu artifact had surrounded the 10,000 colors Thunder Ball. This was the ultimate weapon of the Ghost King of the Will. He was now moving forward with all his heart, relying on his strong body and strong willpower to endure the destruction brought by the thunder. Fortunately, his body recovered quickly, so he could hold on. He had gritted his teeth and persisted for a long time, more than twice as long as Zhao Yuan Chen. If calculated by straight-line distance, he had walked several circles around the circumference of the colorful thunder ball, but as he continued to move forward, the front was still endless, and the power of the thunder around him was still getting stronger. Suddenly, Wu Yu saw that there was finally some change in front of him, as if there was something hidden in the colorful electric snakes. Heaven-swallowing record. Author, Feng Qing Yang. Chapter 1422. When Wu Yu saw something different from an electric snake, he was overjoyed. It is very possible that the 10th grade Immortal King seal is right in front of you. He almost wanted to laugh. No matter how many threats there were now, he was very excited at this moment. He gritted his teeth and charged towards that side. If you can get the 10th grade Immortal King seal just like this, you will really make a lot of money. Step 2 steps. Writing this, I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network rightward arrow. Step by step, the thing seems to be right in front of you. If you take about 10 steps, you may be able to get it. 10 steps was too short for Wu Yu. But he never expected that no matter how many steps he took, he would still be 10 steps away from that thing. How is it possible? He rushed out more than 30 steps, but the distance from that thing seemed to have not changed. It's really not that easy. He could only smile bitterly, but still persisted. In the end, he walked nearly 300 steps, still 10 steps away from the thing. This is simply despairing, and the further we advance, the more terrifying the power of the thunder electric snake becomes, and it has not stopped at all. In the end, no matter how hard he tried to persevere, at the ultimate moment, he was blown away by a huge force that didn't know where it came from. In the blink of an eye, a million-color thunder ball was shot out. Come out, this is what the wheel-turning Ghost King was waiting for. Regardless of whether Wu Yu obtained the seal of the 10th grade Immortal King after he came out, he certainly wanted to catch Wu Yu first in this Will of Souls in Hell. He definitely saw it clearly. With his own soul exorcism nightmare technique and Wu Yu's ability, he is confident that he can go deeper than Wu Yu now. In that case, he will be more likely. Throw yourself into a trap. He could see that Wu Yu was also an immortal lord, so he was not worried at all. After all, no immortal lord could escape from his treasure. Not even the Ghost King. But in fact, Wu Yu had been ready for a long time. Although he was tired, he was not seriously injured. The moment he came out, he controlled his body, and the somersault cloud had integrated into his whole body. Turn over and jump. Suddenly, he disappeared in front of the wheel-turning Ghost King without a trace. The wheel-turning Ghost King and the other Ghost Kings behind him were all stunned for a moment. This. Everyone stood there dumbly. Impossible. How is it possible? It's completely impossible, the wheel-turning Ghost King said 3 impossibilities in a row. He turned around and looked at each other in confusion, his expressions all stiff. The Ghost Kings and their purple-eyed expressions were also shocked. The Ghost King of the Wheel came out of Hell's Wheel of Souls and searched outside, but could not find any trace of Wu Yu at all. He didn't know that Wu Yu had returned to the vicinity of the star-guarding formation at this time. Identity is wandering around, and he just needs to recover. The wheel-turning Ghost King will probably feel that Zhao Yuanchen is useless after being disturbed by me. I just entered the depths that are so much deeper than Zhao Yuanchen, but I still can't find the seal of the 10th grade Immortal King. It seems that the wheel-turning Ghost King has in the current situation, it is simply impossible to succeed. In this way, Wu Yu felt relieved. Judging from the current situation, it was very difficult for ghosts and gods to succeed. Even the prison master level existence like the wheel-turning Ghost King was currently helpless. I don't know what will change next. He has the advantage of status and is ever-changing, so there is no need to worry about it for the time being. At present, Bai Mu's identity is quite useful. As for the ancient Holmium Lord and the others, they don't have much chance. After all, they can't enter the Starguard formation. So for now, no one has a chance. I'll take a rest and be prepared to go in next time. Maybe I can be clearer. In fact, he still has some losses and cannot continue for the time being. About 3 days later, those Ghost Kings who went out on patrol came back, all with disgraceful faces. Successful, Wu Yu asked them in surprise. What a surprise, I finally found a team with nearly 100 Immortal Kings, all of them were very defiant. They surrounded us and attacked us. We didn't kill a few, and we didn't catch anyone, but we almost let them kill us. These descendants of the Emperor Immortal are all very terrifying, especially the male and female, their strength is simply abnormal. That woman is the daughter of the 4 heavenly kings, King Druta, she is really abnormal. I didn't expect them to get into trouble. What about them now? They escaped. I guess they will escape further this time. However, since they want to get the seal of the 10th grade Immortal King, they will naturally come back. Let's go back and report to the prison master, and then go out and wait for them. Next time, we must catch a few. Wu Yu, with his white-eyed Ghost King's personality, naturally did his duty and went down with these Ghost Kings. At this time, the wheel-turning Ghost King found that he didn't even have his own magic weapon and had already put away the Hell Wheel of Souls. Wu Yu came to claim credit and put it away. What the Ghost King said before was repeated to the wheel-turning Ghost King, as if he was fighting on the spot. I said, you should hide in the distance and watch the elders fight. Don't act as if you have any merit. Purple Eyes gave him a contemptuous look. Sure enough, a dog can't change its habit of eating shit. What did you say? Wu Yu was about to argue. Okay, the wheel-turning Ghost King was in a bad mood, and he said, send more people and make sure to catch a few next time. It's best to bring me the ancient Holmium God Lord and Moug. As for you, go out. I feel annoyed when I see you. Purple Eyes is here, and she is sweet and can comfort him, but White Eyes is completely annoying him. When Wu Yu heard this, his face fell, and he said excitedly, Father, I will definitely catch those immortals for you. This chapter is not over yet, please click on the next page to continue reading. With that, he went out angrily, and the other ghost kings shook their heads helplessly. "Shame on you," the Will Ghost King cursed, and then told everyone about what happened to the Chifeng Immortal Lord just now. "We need to search for this person too. But we don't have enough manpower now, Prison Master. You all go out. Zi Mao and I will stay here. Half of the people will search for the Immortal Lord, and the other half will go out to catch the group of people. They are numerous and have big targets. Be prepared next time and make sure to get something." "Yes, Prison Master." In this way, Wu Yu was doing well and had nothing to do. He quickly recovered and even found a place to hide. No one cared about him. It happened that he could recover in the floating life tower. It didn't take long for him to be full of energy and could enter the Epic God formation again and attack it again. As time passed, the storm gradually arose. Dark Star. Today, Dark Star has become a place for many people to rest because it is the outermost star in the central area. It has been particularly lively recently. In the ghost and god inns in major cities, many unfamiliar faces appeared, and some even came from other hells. At this time, many ghosts and gods were discussing. "Everyone, you are all here for the changes on the Will King planet, right?" Yes, the Will King planet broke, and there were huge changes inside. Many people were fleeing. At this time, the Starry Sky Prison Lord actually opened the star protection array and completely sealed off the Will King planet. Now it is said that there is an incredible treasure on the Will King planet. The Starry Sky Prison Lord wants to take it all for himself, and is digging with all his strength. I am afraid that it will not be long before he can get the moon first and get the peerless treasure. That treasure may even give him the opportunity to become the eternal demon emperor in the future. This is exaggerated. How can there be a treasure that can make people become the eternal demon emperor? But it must be a treasure. Otherwise, everyone would leave the Will King planet at this time, but he sealed the Will King planet. Why? Of course it is a treasure, so the other ghost kings of the Starry Sky Hell, those who do not obey the management of the Starry Sky Prison Lord and dominate one side, basically bring people to approach the Will King planet. These ghost kings all want to get a piece of the pie. It's going to be lively next. Maybe we brothers can take advantage of the chaos to gain something, hee hee. Most of those ghost kings are defeated by the Starry Sky Prison Master, and they may not be able to break the star protection array. But I heard that the star protection array and the treasure have spread to other hells. Many ghost kings and prison masters in other hells are ready to move. Even the strong men in the upper hell have heard about it and are afraid that they will be interested in coming down. With such a big commotion, our Starry Sky Hell will be really lively. Some people hide to save their lives, and some come to join in the fun. Now there is restlessness everywhere, and it is also an opportunity for our brothers. We must be smart. Maybe we can get a Ghost King seal, which is amazing. Haha, let's drink this bowl. Not only in the Dark Star, similar discussions are happening in the entire Starry Sky Hell. Being on the Will King Star, the Will Ghost King has many eyes and ears all over the Starry Sky Hell. He already knows that the Will King Star will become a place of right and wrong in the future, and he must hurry up. Fortunately, the news of the 10th grade Immortal King Seal has not been spread out, otherwise, the turmoil caused would not be the current level. At least 10 times more. After all, it is only rumored that there is a treasure, but it is not certain what the treasure is. Most people still think it has nothing to do with them. During this period, Zhao Yuanchen recovered and the Will Ghost King went in again. He felt that he had made great progress, but returned empty-handed. What made him depressed was that his people searched for Wu Yu in the entire Will King Star and did not gain anything at all. However, Wu Yu appeared again, evaded his pursuit again, and entered the 10,000 colors Thunder Ball. He still couldn't catch up with Wu Yu. This time Wu Yu was more confident and went deeper. He still saw something that might be the 10th grade Immortal King Seal, but unfortunately, it was still a little short and failed to succeed. he was swept out again. This time the consumption was greater. After coming out, he was almost ambushed by the Will Ghost King, which means that the risk of coming in was also relatively large. He barely escaped, and he could only simulate the white-eyed Ghost King again and continue to avoid the search. He probably also knew that the entire starry sky hell had changed a lot now. Many ghosts and gods appeared outside the Will King star, but they did not attack rashly. One day later, the ghosts and gods of the dark star were still watching the changes in things, but suddenly above the sky, in the starry sky, a group of immortals, hundreds of thousands of them, actually passed by in a mighty manner. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1423. Led by immortal Lord Xuanhuan, the immortals who had heard about the changes in the Will King star and had entered hell without regrets could only come to the Will King star with a vengeance. Most of these people were not descendants of the Emperor Immortals, and they had no concerns in the heavenly court, and were used to being free. On the one hand, they wanted to try their luck, and if they were lucky, that was possible. On the other hand, they were eyeing other immortals who might have the Immortal King seal. Once a riot occurred in this hell, it would be easier to get the Immortal King seal from others than to fight against those secret tests in the Tegzu Immortal Road. Maybe, before they did anything, the Immortal King seal would be delivered to them directly. The biggest risk means the biggest gain, so most of these immortals, who numbered hundreds of thousands, were fanatical adventurers. And outside the gate of the starry sky hell, there were more than 10 times more immortals who did not dare to come in for the time being. Although, no one stopped them. Seeing this, the god of ancient proverbs and his men could no longer guard, so they took advantage of the remaining time to collect the Immortal King seal by themselves. Those who did not enter the starry sky hell were all overcome by reason. And now in the starry sky hell, because there are so many of them, they are also bold and do not hide at all, and go directly to the Will King star. After all, there are more people and more power. The ghosts and gods along the way saw them and were also very horrified and puzzled, because such a large number of immortals appeared here, which was really unheard of. These are all immortals. At this time, when they passed by the dark star, the entire dark star was boiling. How is it possible that so many immortals appeared here? No. What a big deal. I heard that there were immortals in the starry sky hell before. Is this the heavenly court going to attack the hell? But there is nothing in our hell that the heavenly court wants. People made all kinds of discussions, they were puzzled and puzzled. The direction they are heading seems to be the Will King star. I know, it must be the Will King star, there is a treasure, and these immortals know it. Although I don't know how they came, they must have come for the treasure. You are right, the Will King star is going to be lively now. Hurry up, let's all catch up, don't miss it. Fishing in troubled waters is the kingly way. Although they are many, this is our ghosts and gods' territory after all. I don't believe that they can be rampant. Along the way, many ghosts and gods chased out and followed the immortals. Because there are too many immortals, and they are basically the top realm masters, so ordinary ghosts and gods don't want to confront them at all. First, they don't have a unified call, but because there are so many immortals, who knows if there are a bunch of immortal kings hidden in them, or even immortal emperors. Such a large number of people came to the vicinity of the dark star, which really caused a sensation. This is already considered that they are hiding very deeply. At this time, countless immortal talismans of communication flew in all directions, even to other hells. What happened outside the Will King star was known to everyone in at least dozens of hells in a short time. The only place that they didn't know was the Will King star. Because all the news sent to the Will King star was blocked by the star protection array, and the Ghost Kings outside happened to have no one to send them the immortal talisman of communication. After all, most of their friends were inside the Will King star. The Will King Ghost King was still trying with Zhao Yuanquan's body. The more he tried, the more he understood that Zhao Yuanquan was not enough to let him break through the colorful thunder ball. The more time passed, the more anxious the Will King Ghost King became. If I can catch that person, I will definitely succeed. The last time Wu Yu ventured in, the Will Ghost King had a chance to catch him, so later on, he simply didn't use Zhao Yuanquan to try, but instead laid out the layout and immortal array inside the 10,000 colors thunder ball, waiting for Wu Yu to take the bait. The virtual god array, which he carefully prepared, can indeed pose a huge threat to Wu Yu, especially when Wu Yu failed and was ejected from the 10,000 colors thunder ball, which is actually the most dangerous time. Once caught by the other party, the end will definitely be the same as Zhao Yuanquan, and if this guy can control his immortal god, it must be very dangerous, and he can even know the memory of his own sky-devouring beast. Wu Yu also took this into consideration, and in a short period of time, he did not take another risk, because he knew that if he did not change, or had a wonderful method, no matter how many times he tried, it would basically be in vain. Recently, he was trying to figure out a way around this star guarding array. Suddenly, one day, the Ghost Kings patrolling outside changed their faces, hurriedly passed through the star protection formation, shouted alert, and asked many Will Kings to operate the star protection formation with all their strength. What's wrong? Wu Yu still looked like the white-eyed Ghost King. Seeing their changes, Wu Yu guessed that it might be some high-level Ghost Kings who led the army to disrupt the situation? Or, it was the existence of other hells. Immortals. They are all immortal kings, there are hundreds of thousands of them. They are almost here. White-eyed. Hurry up and notify your father. We will stay here first. Wu Yu's eyes lit up. He didn't expect that the ancient proverb God King and his men failed. But he never expected that hundreds of thousands of immortal kings would dare to come in. Wu Yu could only say that people die for money and birds die for food. Of this group of crazy beings, there are definitely very few people who can really end up well. This chapter is not finished yet, please click on the next page to continue reading the exciting content. They have been in heaven all year round and do not know the blood and terror of hell. Here, there is no need to worry about killing the immortals. After all, their coming here is almost an invasion. But, my chance has come. In any case, the arrival of these hundreds of thousands of immortal kings will definitely cause huge commotion and even alarm other ghosts and gods, causing more and more ghosts and gods from other hells to come to the starry sky hell. Now, after trying it, Wu Yu still feels that he has a greater chance in Chakravartin under the chaos. There are not many ghosts and gods, so these hundreds of thousands of immortal kings are indeed a huge threat. As soon as they came in, the Ghost Kings entered the star defending formation to strengthen the power of the star defending formation. Quick! Wu Yu was stunned for a while and was scolded a few times by them. At this time, the wheel-turning Ghost King will know it soon. Because the messenger talisman cannot enter the depths of the lava, it will be burned directly. The white-eyed Ghost King does not have the most top-notch one, so he needs to go down in person. His speed was not slow. He immediately entered a crack and then went deeper. When the Ghost Kings couldn't see him, he slowed down. Don't worry, let the immortal lords advance for a while, and then let the wheel-turning Ghost King know. In this way, the star-protecting formation will be easier to break, and then the two sides will fight. This was not caused by Wu Yu, but the immortal lord's own choice, so even if any bad consequences occurred, it had nothing to do with Wu Yu. He was also helping the immortal lord, because the later the wheel-turning Ghost King went out, the less of a threat they would be. It's impossible for God Lord Guholmium and Moug not to see such a big movement. It's because the wheel runner Ghost King sealed the star protecting formation so tightly that there was no movement at all inside the wheel runner King Fang. I guess he will follow the Immortal Lord's team and fish in troubled waters like me. However, once Moug and Gu Hao Shenjun come in, they may perform better than me when facing the Thousand Colors Thunder Ball. It's even possible that the two of them can obtain the 10th grade Immortal King seal very quickly. Therefore, Wu Yu should pay special attention to these two people. Of course, he also knew that the Chakravartin Ghost King would definitely focus on guarding against these two people. Judging from his thoughts, he definitely wanted to use the soul exorcism nightmare technique to deal with them. To be honest, the wheel-turning Ghost King is at least the 5th level of the Taigzi Ghost realm and above. He may not be able to deal with Wu Yu face to face, but it should be easy to deal with Moug and the others. The wheel-turning Ghost King cannot be underestimated. He can control Zhao Yuan Chen, and naturally he can also control the ancient Holmium Divine Lord. Moreover, he is stronger than the ancient Holmium Divine Lord. He will definitely become the most likely person to obtain the 10th grade Immortal King seal when the time comes. Of course, Wu Yu always felt that the Jade Emperor would never let ghosts and gods get it. Finally, after a period of trekking, he came to the vicinity of the colorful Thunder Ball. Oops, when he came here, his acting skills exploded and he shouted anxiously. "What are you doing? What a shame Zimu cherished the time alone with her father." The two chatted a lot and were particularly happy. At this time, she felt disgusted when she saw Wu Yu. "What's your attitude?" Wu Yu scolded her. "Okay, let's talk if you have anything to say." The wheel-turning Ghost King's attitude was also a little cold. Wu Yu then said, "Well, it's too scary. There are hundreds of thousands of immortal lords outside, appearing outside the star-protecting formation. Several uncles asked me to come in quickly and tell my father. Those immortal lords are all the same as the 100 before. They are almost the same, they are all top-notch immortal kings, and their strength is similar to mine." "What?" the wheel-turning Ghost King screamed and flew up, completely stunned. "Hundreds of thousands, are you right?" Purple Eyes turned pale, looking at Wu Yu with distrust. "If you don't believe it, just go out and see for yourself. Come out with me." The Ghost King held one in each hand, then turned around and released the huge Hell Soul Roulette again, trapping the 10,000 colors Thunder Ball in it. Zhao Yuan Chen was also trapped in it. In this way, he could leave with peace of mind. After all, the star-defending formation outside has not been breached yet. Is heaven opening a passage to my starry sky hell? Hundreds of thousands of immortal lords are coming in. This matter is not trivial. Who is making fun of this? The Jade Emperor? Let them compete for the seal of the 10th grade Immortal King. The wheel-turning Ghost King is troubled in his heart. Heaven-swallowing record. Author, Feng Qing Yang. Chapter 1424. Regarding this 10th grade Immortal King seal, the Ghost King of the Will of Revelation both loves and hates it. Love is the desire for this treasure itself, and hate is the huge trouble it brings now. When he was anxious and rushed out of the Will of Revelation star with his children, all the ghosts and gods on the Will of Revelation star were boiling again after the last closure of the star protection array. The ghosts and gods stared with wide eyes and looked outside the star protection array uneasily. Their eyes penetrated the star protection array and saw a large number of immortals outside. Those immortals were all top-level realm masters, and those who dared to come here were basically daring and reckless. In the starry sky hell, there has never been a situation where such immortals surrounded the entire Will of Revelation star. They were temporarily isolated outside by the star protection array. Wu Yu finally saw them. Although he didn't find anyone, it was obvious that the god of ancient Ruo, Moug, the immortal Lord Siming, etc., were all mixed in the crowd. "I heard that Zhao Yuan Chen has been captured by the Will Ghost King. The Will Ghost King has already known the news about the 10th grade Immortal King seal, so he closed the Will King star and opened the star protection array. We don't have time. If we don't attack, when the Will Ghost King gets the 10th grade Immortal King seal, we will have come here in vain. It seems that not many other ghosts and gods know about it yet, so let's do it quickly. Wu Yu could vaguely hear the voices of the Immortals outside talking loudly in the star protection array. The Will Ghost King just came out at this time. You two, stay here and don't move. The Will Ghost King first threw Wu Yu and the other two into the prison lord's mansion, and then rushed up. Before he finished speaking, some Immortals had already started to attack the star protection array outside. Although they don't have top-level masters, they have more people. Hundreds of thousands of Immortal Kings from the 8 realms and 9 realms joined forces, and the scene was extremely spectacular. For a moment, the entire star-protecting formation was shaking violently, making a harsh roar, and the entire sky was completely engulfed by various realm master magic. For a moment, the star-protecting formation was constantly shaking, forming surging waves, and was dyed colorful by various realm master magic and magical powers. You Immortal Kings! Dare to break into my starry sky hell and attack my Will King star! You deserve to die! Give you 3 breaths of time to retreat, otherwise I will let hundreds of thousands of you die here. I, the Will King, keep my word. I can kill your 30,000 troops alone. When the opponent attacked, the Will King's powerful and domineering voice rushed out, and I believe every Immortal King could hear it. But it seemed useless. The Immortal Kings were still afraid of him and would not come here. For a while, under the threat of the Will Ghost King, the pressure of the star guarding formation not only did not decrease, but increased, because the Immortals wanted to quickly enter the Will King star, dispersed, and mixed with the ghosts and gods. At that time, the Will Ghost King could only defeat them one by one, and the efficiency dropped 1,000 times instantly. On the contrary, if they gathered together, it would be much easier for a few Ghost Kings to attack them, and they could definitely sweep a large area. Even if the Will Ghost King went out, facing many scattered Immortals, he could not solve many in a short time. At this time, he could only appear in the star guarding formation and call on a large number of Will King troops to support the star guarding formation together. First, use the star guarding formation to block the Immortals, and then there will be a way to solve the problem. All the Ghost Kings are temporarily strengthening the power of the star guarding formation. But there are too many Immortals, and their attacks are more violent. At this time, the ghosts and gods are too many. The disadvantage of being scarce in number is revealed because there are too many killing each other. Wu Yu and Zi Mao looked at each other in the prison master's mansion. Zi Mao was extremely anxious, like an ant on a hot pot, shouting, "What's wrong with this immortal? Why is he so reckless? Don't you want to die? Father has to kill them all to teach them a lesson." Wu Yu glanced at her indifferently. It was a chaotic moment, and he chose to leave the prison master's mansion. "Where are you going?" Zi Mao called him. "Of course I'm helping." "Are you a coward like you?" Wu Yu said contemptuously. "Bullshit, you must want to find a safer place to hide." "Don't think I don't know you, you are a coward," Zi Mao said angrily. Wu Yu was too lazy to pay attention to her. He had to leave here, so he went out directly. Zi Mao wanted to stop him, but after thinking carefully, he is willing to disobey my father's orders, so I don't need to stop him. If there is any change at that time, it will be interesting if he is killed in the chaos. Anyway, when my father asks, I will just say that I can't stop him. So, she stayed here obediently and let Wu Yu leave. Wu Yu left the prison mansion and changed into other ghosts and gods at will, and no one paid attention to him anymore. I estimate that it won't be long before this star-protecting formation will be destroyed, and then a large number of immortals will rush in and fight with the ghosts and gods in a direct fight. Then, most of the ghosts and gods will flee. After all, they are not all the people of the wheel-turning Ghost King. Then, the remaining wheel-turning King army can't stop so many immortals. Those immortals will obviously go underground for the 10th grade Immortal King seal. and the Ghost Kings, each of them will face the siege of many immortals. Wu Yu hid in the dark. He stared at many Ghost Kings and locked their positions. Next, he waited for the situation to be discovered and the star-protecting formation to be broken. Hold on, the wheel-turning Ghost King used up all his strength and worked hard. Together with other Ghost Kings and Ghost Kings, he stood on the foundation of the star-protecting formation and integrated all his strength into one. However, the number of immortal lords is more than 10 times that of theirs. No matter how powerful the wheel-turning Ghost King is, under the full bombardment of hundreds of thousands of immortal lords, it is still difficult for the star-guarding formation to hold up. Just 30 breaths later, as expected by Wu Yu, a small gap opened in the Star Guardian formation. Any gap created by an immortal formation like this is basically difficult to fill. Oops, after the ghosts and gods saw the gap, they were shocked. What they saw next was the collapse of the entire star-protecting formation. At this time, they fully knew that the entire star-protecting formation would be destroyed next. Run away. The opportunity has come, get out of here. We have to escape. We are not from the king of Chakravartin. Don't kill us. When the star-protecting formation was shattered, it turned out that most of the ghosts and gods left here first, raising their hands in surrender. The star-protecting formation was shattered at this moment and disappeared. The entire Chakravartin king was exposed to the outside. Charge, countless immortal kings are waiting for this moment. Most of them are scrambling to enter the cracks of Chakravartin. There are very few who are really willing to fight with ghosts and gods. When they see those ghosts and gods just trying to escape, if so, they won't stop it. Of course, the armored Chakravartin king army will stop them and continue fighting. As long as someone blocks them, the immortal kings will rush forward. With the absolute numerical advantage, the ghosts and gods have little advantage. Hundreds of thousands of immortal kings dispersed and entered the Chakravartin king. They quickly mixed with the ghosts and gods. The entire star was filled with immortal kings. In this way, it was indeed quite difficult for the Chakravartin Ghost King to kill a large area at once. Difficult, although he has the strength. Kill. For a moment, the world was filled with earth-shattering shouts of killing, especially some powerful ghosts and gods, who were completely surrounded and bombarded. For example, the Ghost Kings have not given orders to retreat now. They can only fight bloody battles. Often a Ghost King will be entangled by hundreds or thousands of immortal kings. No matter how powerful the Ghost King is, hundreds of thousands of immortal kings will be scattered. All around, just bombarding with the Realm Master's magic, 1,000 times in a row, all at the same time, can kill people. At this time, Wu Yu quickly transformed into an immortal king and quickly approached. Among his targets, several Ghost Kings were already surrounded. For example, he was familiar with the 10,000 Bone Ghost King and the Purple Soul Ghost King. Among them, the Ghost King of 10,000 Bones was very close to him. Wu Yu also mixed in with the crowd and watched the immortal kings encircling the city in a large circle and bombing the Ghost King of 10,000 Bones. The Ghost King of 10,000 Bones was very capable and killed dozens of immortal kings at first. But at this time he could no longer hold on. Wu Yu saw with his own eyes that he was directly swallowed up by various realm masters' magical powers and heavenly powers, and then his body and shape were destroyed. The first Ghost King was bombed to death by thousands of immortal kings. In fact, the immortal lord also suffered a lot of casualties, but after all, they had so many people that they couldn't see any losses yet. After the Ghost King of 10,000 Bones died in the battle, everyone stopped attacking, but rushed forward in a rush. Of course they want to snatch the body. The Ghost King of 10,000 Bones must still have many relics on his body. In fact, those immortal kings who died in battle will be robbed immediately. The purpose of most immortal kings coming in is not for the 10th grade immortal king seal, but for such a battlefield. In such a battlefield, as long as you don't die, you can get the immortal king seal. The seal is not difficult, so you can even see some immortals running out of nowhere at this time. Apparently, he got the immortal king seal from the corpse. This is the purpose of their crazy coming here. Where can there be such a battlefield on Taegzu Immortal Road? They don't even need to take action, they just need to hide, and maybe they will gain something. Therefore, it can indeed be seen that people with such a purpose surround the Ghost King and dare to kill even the Taegzu Ghost Realm. Not only did he dare to kill, but he also dared to rob. However, Wu Yu is already very close to here. No matter how many immortals there are, they can't change their bodies as fast as him. Previously, because they were worried about the Ghost King's methods, they basically bombed from a distance. Now they suddenly approached, and some people were still attacking. Wu Yu suddenly appeared and pulled the corpse of the 10,000 Bone Ghost King into the floating life tower. Let him snatch it away. Kill him. Suddenly, countless attacks came towards Wu Yu. Wu Yu left quickly and suddenly appeared outside the crowd. In an instant, he changed into another person and left in a swaggering manner. No one noticed him at all. Then, he can target another Ghost King. For him, this kind of melee without having to do it himself is his best opportunity. Heaven-swallowing record. Author, Feng Qing Yang. Chapter 1425. He set his sights on his next target. The Ghost King of 10,000 Bones is dead, and others with similar strength, no matter how tough they are, can kill hundreds of top immortal kings, they are still not far from death. Wu Yu just changed his identity and immediately appeared next to another target. Remember the domain name of this website, Taiwan Novel Network, rightward arrow. Exactly, the Nightmare Ghost King. This was arranged by the Chakravartin Ghost King to protect Zimu, but due to the lack of manpower during this period, the Ghost King of Ghost Nightmare was previously tasked with finding the Red Peak Immortal Lord, who was actually Wu Yu himself. So of course she couldn't find it. Previously, she participated in the defense of the Starguard Formation. Once the Starguard Formation was broken, she bore the brunt and was surrounded by nearly 1,500 Immortal Lords. The Immortal Lords were very smart and did not approach her. Instead, they bombarded her outside, exploding randomly. She had witnessed the death of the Ghost King of 10,000 Bones in battle, and she was already panicking even before Wu Yu got close. Although Wu Yu is not the Ghost King, his ability to escape is still better than that of the Ghost King. So at this moment, the Nightmare Ghost King screamed, unable to block the new wave of attacks, and was once again swallowed up by attacks that did not seem to pose much threat to her, but were too numerous. After being engulfed, a few more attacks came and the Ghost King of Nightmare was completely destroyed. Before that, some immortal kings had already rushed forward to snatch the Ghost King's belongings, risking being hit by others. However, Wu Yu was still very fast. He transformed and appeared next to the Ghost King in an instant. No matter what, he kept collecting the corpses. Then in the next moment, a large number of attacks bombarded his body. Wu Yu was almost knocked out of his wits by the attacks. In the end, he was fast enough and escaped, but there was no intact part of his body. He still changed his identity again. Now, there are still a large amount of Immortal Lord's Realm Master Magic and World Power in his body, which he needs to expel as soon as possible, so he can't fight for it quickly. But at this time, the wheel-turning Ghost King had already seen the miserable state of the other Ghost Kings, all of whom were his followers, and seeing the heavy losses suffered by the wheel-turning King's army, his eyes were filled with tears. At this time, he admitted defeat and said loudly, "The King of Wheels, retreat. All Ghost Kings, follow me to the 10,000 Colors Thunder Ball, quickly." He is not afraid of the siege by the Immortal Lords. So far, more than 1,000 Immortal Lords have died in his hands. Wherever the wheel-turning Ghost King goes, the Immortal Kings are hiding. In fact, at this time, tens of thousands of Immortal Lords have already entered the center of the earth. He may be worried about this. It seems that he is going to retreat into the center of the earth. Then Wu Yu saw the wheel-turning Ghost King heading towards the prison lord's mansion. The prison lord's mansion was protected by an immortal formation, so he should have gone to take away Zimu. "Where's your brother?" The Chakravartin Ghost King returned to the prison lord's mansion amidst the chaos, and saw that he only had purple eyes. "She said she wanted to go out to help, but I couldn't stop her." The wheel-turning Ghost King was furious and cursed, "You're not helping me, he must have found a place to hide himself. In this case, he deserves to be killed." Under such circumstances, he had no time to look for the white-eyed Ghost King. He directly rushed into the cracks in the ground with his purple eyes, heading towards his Tegzu artifact Hell's Will of Souls. With the orders of the Chakravartin Ghost King, the Ghost Kings also knew where the safe place was. Most of them were already hiding and were not surrounded by the immortal kings. At this time, they rushed into the underground. The meaning of the wheel-turning Ghost King should be to guard the 10,000 colors Thunder Ball. Deep in the center of the earth, there are not many immortals who can withstand the temperature of the lava. Then it is narrower over there, and the immortals they face at the same time there are relatively few. Retreating there is the best choice for the wheel-turning Ghost King now. Most of the Ghost Kings escaped successfully, but other Chakravartin kings had no intention of falling in love and escaped outside the Chakravartin planet. In this way, there were no immortal kings to chase them. The entire Chakravartin planet was full of fighting and chaos. However, there were also Ghost Kings who could not completely escape. They were surrounded. Wu Yu gritted his teeth and took another risk. The first time he took the risk, he took away the corpse of the Purple Soul Ghost King, but he also suffered heavy losses. Even King Kong was indestructible. His body was almost destroyed by those crazy immortal monarchs. After all, the Purple Soul Ghost King was only at the first level of the Tegzu Ghost realm. He and the 10,000 Bone Ghost King died fighting here purely because of their lack of strength. The three Ghost King levels, based on their understanding of the rules, Wu Yu felt that it was almost enough. He was satisfied. If there were more, he probably wouldn't be able to hold on. So in this chaotic time, he asked Nanshan Wanjiao to come out and show off. He is now also in the realm Lord God realm. With Wu Yu's free inheritance, his progress is also very scary. Now he can barely fight with the immortal Lord of the Seven Realms. With his magical power that is invisible in the sky, he can walk freely outside, but Wu Yu has 100 times more time. Now there are three Ghost Kings creations that he can devour. He has been waiting for a long time and finally has the opportunity to devour them. This is his chance to transform. However, he actually doesn't have much time now, so he just devours these three and slowly digests them. It will naturally take a long time to really use their Tao to break through the realm. 3 consecutive swallows, and 3 of them were in the Tegzu Ghost realm. His whole body was almost exploded. A large amount of the power of the Ghost King left his body, which also caused his immortal god to completely transform into a sky-swallowing giant beast. At this time, his eyes have turned blood red, and it is difficult to even return to the simulation. This is a sign that his devouring has reached the limit of what the Ruyi Golden Cudgel can suppress in a short period of time. However, Wu Yu could still hold on. At least this devouring instantly healed his injuries. After all, the 3 Ghost Kings all had the essence of flesh and blood. It didn't take long. He digested the memories of the 3 Ghost Kings and their cultivation methods, like a devouring machine, fusing and screening them. He left the floating life tower and went to the center of the Will King star. He needed to determine the situation there. After all, it was related to the 10th grade Fairy King seal. What on earth are you? Huo Wu Huangjun was full of resentment. Looking at Wu Yu, who now had the aura of reproduction, Wu Yu at this time was indeed full of attraction, making her feel uncomfortable. Sure enough, before she said more, Wu Yu once again used the exorcism technique, and then hypnotized her, making her fall asleep again. When she fell asleep, her breath was as fragrant as orchids, and her body was tender and red. Wu Yu really couldn't bear it at this time. This was the embarrassment brought by the swallowing beast, but even though he was extremely eager, he still gritted his teeth and went out directly, out of sight, out of mind. Then, with his almost burst body and chaotic thoughts, he entered the underground and headed towards the center of the earth like many immortals. But most of these immortals didn't know the way. So they didn't go as far as Wu Yu and groped around. Even if someone could find the location of the 10,000 colors thunder ball, they wouldn't tell others. So it's very chaotic here now. Wu Yu went deeper and deeper, and it didn't take long. When he came to the location of the 10,000 colors thunder ball, he found that there were not many immortals here. They had no choice for the time being, because they didn't see the 10,000 colors thunder ball at all, but saw the legendary Tegzu artifact Hell Soul Wheel of the Will King of Ghosts here. Of course, they didn't know that the huge 10,000 colors thunder ball was surrounded by this Tegzu artifact. At this time, the wheel that looked like a black millstone had started and was rotating. For a moment, the reliefs on it seemed to come alive. On this wheel, there were countless dead souls, countless miserable voices, and millions of wronged souls were scattered around the millstone. No matter what kind of immortal monarch, once approached, those dead souls quickly drilled into their bodies. This was terrible. Those immortal monarchs were immediately caught in a battle between heaven and man. The immortals and the dead souls fought against each other. Some were able to hold on and retreat, while others were surrounded by endless dead souls and died directly. The Ghost King of the Wheel, guarding such a small place, showed the power of this Hell Dead Soul Wheel. This can be said to be the most terrifying Tegzu artifact in the starry sky hell. The power is indeed extraordinary. Moreover, the place here is not large, and hundreds of thousands of immortal monarchs cannot all gather together to attack. The force area of this Tegzu artifact is definitely far less than that of the star guarding formation, so it can hold on. There are not many immortals around. For the time being, it is impossible to get close to the Hell Soul Wheel. The Ghost King of Will and a group of core members are all inside. The current situation is a stalemate. I just don't know if there will be any changes as more and more immortals arrive here. Wu Yu has not seen Gu Ryu Shenjun, Moug, and others for the time being. They are also very smart. They are probably worried that there are few people outside at this time. If they come out rashly, the Ghost King of Will come out and catch them personally. Since it has been a stalemate, the immortals can't break through the Hell Soul Wheel for the time being, and the Ghost King of Will seems unable to get the 10th rank Immortal King seal, so I will use this time to practice. Seeing this situation, Wu Yu made a decision. He asked Nanshan Wanjiao to come out. He used Tianyu Wuzong, and no one could see him. Yezixi also came out and changed into sand. He moved with Nanshan Wanjiao. Wu Yu asked the two of them to watch Wu Yu's situation and changes and tell him any time. Then, he can concentrate on seizing the time to practice. It is really exciting to practice in the intervals of this battle. I believe that in the near future, there will always be a large number of immortals who will find this place. I don't know what will happen then. Anyway, for one day outside now, Wu Yu can have 100 days. The fortune of the three Ghost Kings is actually a bit vast for Wu Yu. He needs to calm down and practice well. It is indeed manic outside. In such an environment, it really takes concentration to practice every minute. In the outside world, in the past 5 days or so, there are more than 2,000 immortals here. Nanshan Wanjiao told Wu Yu that he had seen Guruo Shenjun in the crowd. Wu Yu asked him to keep an eye on Guruo Shenjun and tell him any movement at any time. For the time being, Guruo Shenjun seems to have no way to deal with the Hell Soul Wheel, because they don't know the existence of the 10,000 color thunder ball, so many people don't think there is a 10th grade Immortal King seal here. Some people left after coming. Now, Most people are searching inside the entire star. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1426. Inside the Hell Soul Wheel, only the Wheel Ghost King, Purple Eyes, and 10 Ghost Kings exist now. There is also Xuanhuan Chen, who is unconscious and under control. Other Ghost Kings can die or escape. So the atmosphere was very sad, and everyone was silent, as if they were hiding here. The thunder of the multicolored thunder ball has not been emitted for a long time, and is still expanding, causing the thunder inside the Tegzu artifact to become more and more violent. Perhaps in the near future, if there is no breakthrough outside, my Hell Wheel of Souls will not be able to trap these thousands of colored thunder balls, the Wheel Ghost King said calmly with a cold look. The other Ghost Kings looked outside, and one of them said, "Prison Master, don't worry. As long as you pick the right ones, you can immediately capture them and use their bodies to enter. There are immortals everywhere now. However, it is basically difficult to find someone who is better than Xuanhuan Chen. There should be 2 people who are very promising, Guhuo Shenjun and Mouji, but they have not appeared here for the time being. In fact, the ancient Holmium god appeared, but they couldn't see it clearly because there were many immortal kings outside. Wait for them to arrive." The wheel-turning Ghost King said in a deep voice. "Father, don't worry, you will definitely get this valuable treasure. No matter how much loss we have, we will definitely be able to recover it," Purple Eyes said with concern. In fact, she also knew that it was useless for the Chakravartin Ghost King to obtain the 10th grade Immortal King seal, and he did it for her. The other Ghost Kings looked at each other. In the past few days, they could see even more clearly that the Ghost King loved Zimu so much that he had no time to even take care of his wives. In the end, he only brought Zimu here. Now they don't know if those people are still here. Still alive. It is obvious that the 10th grade Immortal King seal of the Chakravartin Ghost King is prepared for the Purple Eyes. They felt that this person was a bit pitiful. "Prison Master, why don't you go out and look for him? Maybe Baimu is still alive." The Chakravartin Ghost King shook his head and said, "Forget it, this is his own choice, and he must be responsible for his own choice. Maybe he really wanted to help at that time." The Chakravartin Ghost King sneered and said, "I don't know yet about my own son, he is just a waste. Okay, it's come to this moment, just ignore him. Whether he lives or dies, it depends on his own fate. A pair of children, one whose life or death is uncertain, and the other who is protected by him, still have to take such a big risk and continue not to give up the 10th grade Immortal King seal. The difference in treatment is indeed too big." But the Ghost Kings had nothing to say. After all, this was the prison master's family matter. They had no right to say anything. They just felt that Baimu was a little pitiful. It was just abandoned. "God Lord Ancient Holmium. Mouji, why haven't you appeared yet? They certainly don't know that we are waiting for them to appear, right?" The wheel-turning Ghost King stared outside. "Definitely not. How could they know so much? They haven't even seen the 1,000 colors thunder ball. It's even less likely that they know that my father can exorcise the soul-expelling nightmare technique. So, the fact that they haven't appeared yet can only be regarded as caution and coincidence. But, they will always appear next." The wheel-turning Ghost King is very confident. "I'm afraid that some powerful character will appear before this to attack my Hell Wheel of Souls." The Wheel Ghost King narrowed his eyes. What he was talking about were other Ghost Kings, even beings with the same strength as him. Those people must come from other hells. There is such a big commotion here. The matter of the 10th grade Immortal King seal has been spread out for a long time. It is obvious that there will be more and more people on the Chakravartin King. Which one comes first? Wu Yu also needs to integrate the ancient immortal patterns of Tao into the core of the immortal world to create a stronger power of the immortal world, until the entire autonomous world is completed. The fifth path is related to the fiery eyes and golden eyes, and is called the path of the golden eyes. Nowadays, Wu Yu's blazing eyes have reached a deeper state, the melting furnace of gold, fire, heaven, and earth. His mastery of this magical power is actually getting closer and closer to perfection. With the way of the three ghost kings, he finally broke through a bottleneck in his cultivation. Next, relying on the understanding of these three ghost kings, he almost reached a level. After all, these are all insights that transcend the realm of the world lord. Just swallowing one of them will be enough. It can clear up a lot of Wu Yu's doubts. Time keeps slipping away. It's been a long time since I've made such rapid progress. The doubts that existed for thousands of years have been solved. This feeling is really great. It can be said to be exciting. Nanshan Wanjiu did not give any hint, that is, there is nothing going on outside for the time being. In fact, Wu Yu has been here for 20 years, and the outside has only been less than 2 months. The change in the past 2 months is nothing more than the increase in the number of immortal lords nearby. Tens of thousands of people have gathered here, constantly attacking the Hell's Wheel of Souls. No other powerful ghosts and gods have appeared yet. Some ghost kings have appeared here. Whether they are the wheel-turning ghost king or not, they have been blasted away by the immortal kings. When facing ghosts and gods, they are basically united. And these more than 20 years are actually the result of thousands of years of hard work and study. When the problems are solved one by one, Wu Yu has made huge progress. This leap-like increase allowed him to make continuous breakthroughs in an instant, integrating the Golden Eye Way and the Big and Small Way into the core of the immortal world, allowing his realm to continuously break through to the World Lord God realm, the 6th level. In terms of realm alone, Wu Yu has already caught up. The gap to the 9th level of Moug and the others is not too big. This chapter is not over yet, please click the next page to continue reading. In addition, the indestructible body of Vajra, the indestructible fighting Buddha world realm, has also been upgraded to a level, with 6 world sources, and now he is considered a double 6 world immortal. In terms of cultivation and combat power, the 3 ghost kings made him completely soar, absolutely reaching an incredible level. Of course, Wu Yu knew that this was a long-term explosion, and it was not really completed overnight. In the next period of time, it would definitely be difficult to make such progress. Because the same Ghost King, their Tao and experience are no longer of much use to Wu Yu. Unless it reaches the level of the Will Ghost King. Similar to the Purple Soul Ghost King, the effect of piling up 100 may not be as good as a Will Ghost King. Of course, 100 Purple Soul Ghost Kings have much more blood and flesh essence and heavenly power than a Will Ghost King. The Taigzu Ghost Realm and Taigzu Fairyland are all about cultivating the heavenly rules. The power of the immortal God world has all transformed into the power of the heavenly rules. Even the core of the immortal God world has become the heart of the heavenly rules. This thing is difficult to decompose. Wu Yu spent several years to digest it completely. After digesting it, the fortune he got was huge. This is a power that is difficult for the immortal king to understand, so he probably absorbed about 1/10 when he reaches this realm in the future. He can obviously absorb more at that time, he will have more heavenly rules. Although it is unlikely that I will have a new breakthrough until the battle for the Taigzu Fairy Road ends, but the current strength should be able to fight against ordinary Ghost Kings, Fairy Kings, or Moug. Such strength, even if I return to the immortal Dragon Emperor realm, is enough to meet the requirements of the Dragon Lords. It can be said that Wu Yu finally succeeded. If I can get the 10th grade Immortal King seal under such circumstances, it will be even more perfect. For 2 months, there were tens of thousands of immortals outside, bombing wildly, and now the Hell Soul Wheel seems not as stable as before. Wu Yu came out of the floating life tower. Nanshan Wanjiu and the others had had enough fun and went back to practice. Wu Yu glanced around with his fiery eyes and didn't see Moug and the others. They really hid and didn't let the Ghost King succeed. Now there is no power of the Emperor Immortals descendants here, and they are basically waiting for new changes. The 10,000 colors thunder ball inside will get bigger. The Ghost King will not be able to hold on one day. Wu Yu didn't choose to rush into the 10,000 colors thunder ball now. He wanted to wait until it was more chaotic. That must be when the Ghost King had to cancel the Hell Soul Wheel, and Gu Ryu Shenjun and others appeared, and even other Ghost King prison masters appeared. He found that there were actually many Ghost Kings around, but they were not in a hurry to act. While waiting, time passed. Wu Yu now changed his new identity. He is now a middle-aged immortal in a green robe, with an immortal style and sharp eyes. His name is Qingxian Immortal Lord. From the Snowland Immortal Lord to the Chifeng Immortal Lord, he had caused a lot of trouble. If he changed his identity, Wu Yu would not believe that anyone could guess his true identity. After all, he no longer used the floating life tower and the floating life sword. Next, most of the immortals had come here. Even if the ancient Ruo Divine Lord and his companions were hiding among them, it would be difficult for the Will Ghost King to find them. I seem to see lightning and thunder. Did the Will Ghost King wrap something inside? Yes, I heard that the 10th grade Immortal King seal is in his Tegzu artifact, but in fact, he himself did not get it, otherwise he would have killed it and escaped. Brothers, work harder. The 10th grade Immortal King seal is very close to us. I don't believe it. With so many of us, we can't even destroy this Tegzu artifact. Yes, we even broke the star protection formation before. Now the Hell Soul Wheel is already very unstable. Their attacks have indeed brought a lot of trouble to the Will Ghost King. Inside the Tegzu artifact, the Ghost King of the Will looked cold and said, "I'm going out to kill some." "No, prison master, there are many Ghost Kings hiding outside, waiting for you to get out. Don't go out, don't take risks, and you won't be able to find those two." His target is still the god of ancient Ruo. He has captured several immortals, but like Zhao Yu and Chen, they can't get in. If you can find the immortal king who broke in last time, it should be possible. Unfortunately, Wu Yu has changed. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1427. The Ghost King of the Will had clearly realized that even if it was dangerous, he had to rush out once. In this Hell's Dead Soul Wheel, even if the two of Guru Shenjun were nearby, it was not so easy to search for them. If the stalemate continued like this, he was afraid that the real threatening opponent would come. If he hadn't sent people to seal the passage from other hells to the starry sky hell, now the Will King Star would have been full of ghosts and gods. But recently, that place has been completely breached, and the guarding immortal formation has collapsed across the board. This is the immortal formation built by the successive prison masters of the starry sky hell, just like the star guarding formation. So the Ghost King of the Will had to rush out. When he suddenly appeared outside and could not concentrate on controlling the Hell's Dead Soul Wheel, the power of this Tegzu artifact immediately decreased a little. He's out. Ghost King of the Wheel. The immortals saw it, and immediately a large group of them retreated. "Kill him, and this Tegzu artifact will collapse without attack," someone else said. Such a voice, after being transmitted, also set off the murderous hearts of the immortals. Their blood became hot and their momentum surged. Some people retreated, but more people mixed in the advancing crowd, wanting to surround the Ghost King of the Will and fish in troubled waters. The Ghost King of the Will had no time to deal with them. He was so fast that he rushed into the group of immortals in an instant. At that speed, the immortals didn't know where he was for a while. "Where is he?" "Here." "Ah." Anyone who blocked the Ghost King of the Will, and met him head-on, the Ghost King of the Will used a gloomy long sword to seduce the souls and killed many immortals directly. With his ability, it was indeed like cutting melons and vegetables. In a chaotic state, he had already penetrated into the group of immortals. It was obviously too difficult for those immortals to form a blockade and siege of tens of thousands of people. They had missed the best opportunity. Retreat. Go, seeing a black shadow passing by in front of them, and corpses falling everywhere, the immortals were horrified. They didn't have the courage to attack the Ghost King of the Will with just a few people. Wu Yu was in such a crowd. He knew that the Ghost King of the Will must be looking for the ancient god and his people. But the ancient god and Moug, and even the immortal Siming and others, had obviously hidden themselves. I don't know why, they seem to know the purpose of the Ghost King of the Will, and they haven't shown up yet. According to common sense, it shouldn't be like this. Anyone like Zhao Yuanchen has not shown up yet. Even the immortal Chong Yuan seems to have hidden himself. They are all descendants of the Emperor Immortals, and they have many magical abilities, especially the ancient god and Moug, whose fathers are important officials of the heavenly court, which is almost equivalent to the top Emperor Immortal inheritance. Wu Yu followed the Will Ghost King. He had made great progress. His speed was so fast that the people around him could not even detect his existence. The Will Ghost King, killing all the way. The immortals scattered. They knew that the closer they let the Will Ghost King get, the more trouble they would have, so they basically retreated in advance. Although they were not organized, they quickly opened up the distance between the Will Ghost King, and the Will Ghost King specifically entered their vicinity, making it difficult for them to escape. This was also a game. Once the immortals opened up a little distance, they would attack the Will Ghost King like crazy in order to save their lives and for the 10th rank Immortal King Seal. Kill. Kill him, and the 10th grade Immortal King Seal will appear. There are too many Immortal Lords, and each of them has many means. Once the wheel-turning Ghost King is attacked by thousands of Immortal Lords at the same time, it will be quite troublesome. Moreover, his goal is to find the God Lord Guru and Moug. After such a long time, they have not been found. Obviously, these two knew that he came out and had been hiding somewhere. Let alone let him know. That's strange. Why do they act as if they know that I want to catch them and use the soul-driving Dao nightmare technique? Did someone leak the secret? Among my confidants. Perhaps this is the only possibility. Now that he has come out once, not only has he failed to achieve his goal, but he has also been deeply trapped in the counter-attack of the Immortal Lords. Even if he is the Starry Sky Prison Lord, being besieged by tens of thousands of Immortal Lords at the same time is quite uncomfortable. All kinds of attacks, endless, the Realm Master's magic, the heavenly magic, any kind, are not a threat to the wheel-turning Ghost King, but if there are tens of thousands, it will be a storm, and even many attacks can form a reaction, which is also quite difficult. Damn it! The Ghost King cursed angrily. He hadn't found it yet. Hope was gone. He had to fight his way back to the Hell's Dead Soul Wheel. He wants to go back. Kill him quickly, he's running back. The Immortals were most afraid of the Ghost King's aggressive momentum. Now that they saw that he was actually thinking of retreating, it was a great opportunity to beat him up. Many Immortals who were still hiding attacked at the same time. The attack faced by the Ghost King suddenly became much bigger. The Ghost King was in a very embarrassing situation. He passed through many attacks and returned to the area where the dead souls were spread with thousands of world powers. He was finally safe. Then, his face was extremely gloomy and he returned to the millstone. He could basically see the battle situation outside. Dad Zi Mao was very distressed and had tears in his eyes. Who leaked the news? Why do they seem to know my soul-expelling nightmare technique? Who is it? The wheel-turning Ghost King was very angry, even his purple eyes pushed him aside, and then he stared at the remaining Ghost King. This chapter is not over, please click on the next page to continue reading. For a moment, there was silence in the millstone, and everyone looked at each other. Prison Master, isn't this right? We have been loyal to you and have been here till now, all for the sake of you and your daughter. The 10th grade Immortal King Seal is of no benefit to us? We have tried our best, how can you doubt us? The Ghost Kings were a little sad about this. They began to feel that it was not worth working so hard to serve the Star Prison Lord. Dad. I dare to say that they are definitely not these uncles. They are good brothers who have been with you for countless years. They have never left you until now. I know who it is. There is only one person with a weak character. If he is captured, he will definitely tell me all your plans. The wheel-turning Ghost King was startled. He finally calmed down and said in a daze, I'm talking about your brother, right? The other Ghost Kings also reacted. If someone really leaks it, it is probably the young master. Because some of the other Ghost Kings have already escaped. With the strength of the Ghost Kings, these Immortal Kings can only kill them, but they will never be able to capture them, let alone capture them. Let them reveal our plans. Young master, you have always bullied the weak and feared the strong. You are used to being dissolute, and nothing has changed so far. If someone really leaks the secret, I think it is him. The face of the wheel-turning Ghost King was extremely ugly. Now that he calmed down and thought for a moment, he realized that there was at least a 70% chance that the white-eyed Ghost King would occupy the position. In fact, these people had always followed him, and there was absolutely no need to stand beside him. Over there with the Immortal Lord. I'm really sorry, brothers, I was impulsive just now and actually doubted you, the wheel-turning Ghost King said. The Ghost Kings all laughed. Prison Master, please don't be polite to us. This is human nature. The wheel-turning Ghost King thought of himself, his eyes were cold, and he gritted his teeth and said, once I catch that kid again, I will definitely skin him and peel him off. It's really a shame for me to give birth to such a son. Looking at the purple eyes again, they are well behaved, sensible, talented, and considerate. One is in the sky and the other is on the ground. If the white-eyed Ghost King was still alive, he would probably die of grief at this time. Wu Yu hasn't found the most suitable time yet. In fact, he is also wondering how the ancient Holmium god and the others know how to hide and not show up. The failure of the wheel-turning Ghost King's attempt basically means that the advantage he had due to the first-come first-served approach to the water and the tower will soon be gone. Sure enough, not long after, when the Immortal Lords attacked the Hell's Wheel of Souls in one go, another force came from the side. That group of people are extremely good at moving in the flames and magma, and their evil aura is so strong that they look like ghosts and gods at first glance. The leader among them is an old man with no hair on his head, but burning with flames. The old man's skin is like volcanic lava, extremely hot, like red-hot steel. The heat wave is so intense that even from a distance, it can feel its terrifying power. Wu Yu is basically certain that this is also a prison lord level figure. After all, there are more than a dozen Ghost Kings behind him. Wu Yu devoured the 3 Ghost Kings and the white-eyed Ghost King. After a little searching, he knew who this person was. The prison lord of the 5001st level Hell, Volcano Hell, the Volcano Prison Lord. The Fire Ghost King. Finally, the prison masters from other hells came here with a group of Ghost Kings. When they showed up, the Ghost Kings who had been hiding around them also appeared one after another at this time, gathering into a terrifying team of ghosts and gods, so that the Immortal Kings did not dare to easily attack them. Get out of my way! The Lord of the Volcano Hell roared loudly, deafeningly. He was a figure on the same level as the Chakravartin Ghost King. At this time, he offered up a huge battle axe that was pitch black, with a cracked surface, and burning with raging flames. The battle axe was in his hand. It became extremely huge and soared into the sky, lying in front of the Hell's Wheel of Souls. Break. The Lord of Volcano Prison attacked directly without saying a word. Yanhuo Ghost King, inside the millstone, the Chakravartin Ghost King roared, but he could not stop the volcano prisoner. At this moment, the volcano prisoner controlled the huge battle axe and slashed fiercely. The color of the sky and the earth changes, and the entire lava of Chakravartin is boiling. Wu Yu also saw with his own eyes that the huge battle axe and the hell wheel of souls were about to collide fiercely. The chaotic opportunity he was waiting for finally arrived. At this time, he simply used the magic of heaven and earth to change his body to the minimum. The multicolored thunder ball was finally displayed in front of everyone. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1428. The moment everyone has been waiting for has arrived. Although having a competitor like the volcano prison master is also a trouble, there are already many competitors, so as long as you have a chance, it will be fine. Amidst everyone's expectations, the battle axe and the millstone did not collide. Because, when the battle axe fell, the Will Ghost King actually picked up the Hell Soul Will at that moment. Let it go to you, he seemed to have given up, bringing a Ghost King and his daughter, and even throwing Xuanhuan Chen away. It seems that the soul-driving nightmare technique has been lifted, but Xuanhuan Chen is still stunned there. When he reacted, the huge battle axe of the volcano prison master almost swallowed him up. Wow! The Hell Soul Will was withdrawn, and people saw the vast 10,000 colors thunder ball at the first time. Of course, the most dangerous thing at this time was that the battle axe of the volcano prison master almost hit the 10,000 colors thunder ball. No one knew what would happen. Fortunately, the volcano prison master controlled his Taixu artifact at the last moment. Xuanhuan Chen also saved his life at this time. He was so scared that he was trembling all over. He was still a little confused and didn't know what happened to him. Time seemed to stop suddenly. At this moment, everyone knew that this strange colorful thunder ball was related to the 10th grade Immortal King seal. But they also knew that the Ghost King of the Will had not obtained it for such a long time, which was obviously very difficult and even very dangerous. However, people's greed is terrible, and everyone wants to seize the opportunity. So this situation occurred. The Lord of the Volcano Prison had just controlled his battle axe, and a large number of immortals rushed into the epic god formation. The Lord of the Volcano Prison was shocked when he saw it. This is the epic god formation. These immortals are not afraid of death. But the next moment, they saw a group of them, all trapped in the colorful thunder ball, and the thunder power seemed to make way for them. So easy, the volcano prison master was very surprised. Of course, he was also anxious to rush in, but after all, he thought that the Ghost King of the Will had not gained anything until now, so it was obviously not so easy. Now it was a mess and he couldn't find where the Ghost King of the Will was. Try it. The volcano prison master and the Ghost Kings rushed towards the colorful thunder ball at the same time. Any immortal king who approached them was immediately killed by them. Now everyone was like a tadpole, bravely drilling into this colorful huge thunder ball. Who can finally drill into the deepest part and get the 10th grade Immortal King seal? Of course, there is still suspense. Although the Volcano Prison Master and the Starry Sky Prison Master are powerful, they may not have an advantage over ordinary Immortal Kings after entering. As soon as the Volcano Prison Master approached, he immediately found that the violent thunder he needed to resist was more than 20 times that of the Immortal. No wonder the Ghost King of the Will of Revelation didn't get anything. Damn! Those Emperor Immortals are so treacherous. Isn't it obvious that they want to trick us? The Lord of the Volcano Prison was furious, but he still rushed in. He didn't believe that with his strength, even if it was more than 20 times, he would not be as good as those immortal lords. And now it's different from the Ghost King of the Will of Revelation guarding the 10,000 colors thunder ball alone. The current situation is that more than 100,000 beings have plunged into it. No matter how strong this era god formation is, it may be weakened when facing so many people, so the difficulty level now may be different from before. These are all opportunities. Wu Yu still didn't see the God Lord Guruo and Moug and others. It is estimated that they are also disguised and are afraid that they have already entered. For him, this is also a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. It just so happens that at this time, his strength is no longer what it used to be. And the key is that no one knows him yet. He keeps changing his identity. If someone knows that the immortal lord of the snow region, the immortal lord of Chifeng, and the current immortal lord of Qingxian are the same person as him, Wu Yu, how surprised would they be? The simulation of the sky-devouring beast allowed Wu Yu to be elusive and reduce many troubles. Now, Wu Yu directly entered the 10,000 colors Thunder Ball as the Qingxian immortal lord. He was unstoppable inside, and his speed of advancement almost exceeded that of all the immortals around him. However, Wu Yu still found that it might be because he swallowed 3 ghost kings, and part of the world power in his body came from ghosts and gods, which caused the 10,000 colors Thunder Ball to reject him a little more. But it didn't matter, he was still more relaxed than before. It was spectacular now, because there were crowds of people in this 10,000 colors Thunder Ball, and there were boiling and irritable electric snakes everywhere. In such a situation, the entire epic god formation might not be able to handle it. Now, all the immortals and ghosts were rushing into the depths. No one cared who was who, and now they were all rushing for the 10th grade immortal king seal. Wu Yu broke through the entanglement of the electric snakes at high speed and rushed in, surpassing the immortals who came in earlier than him. But in fact, he knew that almost all the immortals here had no hope. The only ones who really had hope were probably a few people. He couldn't see the situation in the distance, and could only focus on some of the immortals around him. At a certain point, their speed obviously slowed down, and some were directly blown away by the epic god formation. These people finally understood why the Will Ghost King had the Thunder Ball for such a long time, but had no harvest. He moved forward silently. Suddenly, he saw a familiar person in front of him, Siming Immortal. Immortal Lord Siming is also advancing like a rock. I haven't seen him outside before, and he is indeed hiding. Obviously, he came in earlier than Wu Yu. This Ming Immortal Lord can be said to be among the top 10 strongest among the 100 million Immortal Lords. He has surpassed many Immortal Kings and looks very confident. This is a reflection of his strength. However, Wu Yu's current power in the world is no worse than his, and his physical body is even more powerful, almost invincible. When the Immortal Lord Siming surpassed all the Immortal Lords and pierced in like a sharp arrow, Wu Yu surpassed him beside him. Immortal Siming's anxious opponent was definitely not Wu Yu. When Wu Yu passed by him, he was shocked. With such a face, he thought it was Moug or the god of ancient Holmium, but he never expected that. It turned out to be an unfamiliar face. This hit him so hard that he almost lost his mind and was knocked out. He stopped and calmed down for a long time before he stabilized and continued to move forward, but his face was already ugly. Who is this person? He can surpass me. Who is he? Immortal Lord Siming was still extremely depressed, but there was nothing he could do about it. Wu Yu had already disappeared in front of him. From the outside, it seems that there are immortal kings who are constantly being pushed out and losing their souls, but there are also those who are constantly coming here and rushing into it. There are also most people who are scavenging outside, looking for corpses and relics. The Chakravartin Ghost King and a group of others did not go down for the time being, but stayed in the corner. "Dad, why don't you take advantage of the chaos and give it a try?" Purple Eyes asked with concern. Now that everyone has equal opportunities, she has lost her biggest advantage. Not to mention how anxious and depressed she is now. The wheel-turning Ghost King said in a deep voice, "It's not necessary. No one can get it. The two of them must have gone in. Now, it's useless for me to go in. I'm waiting here. When they are blasted out, they will definitely reveal their true colors. Only then will they be revealed. It's my chance." He has experienced it countless times and knows that it is useless to rush in like the gods, So he is still waiting to find the ancient Holmium god and Moug. If he can control them with the soul-expelling nightmare technique, then he will turn the Lune Ghost King is still the most promising and can turn defeat into victory. He could hold it back, but his purple eyes were not good enough. She was like an ant on a hot pot, with an ugly face, muttering, "It's all his fault for ruining father's plan, otherwise, we would have obtained the seal of the 10th grade Immortal King by now." The wheel-turning Ghost King has his reasons, but his gamble is based on the premise that Moug and the others cannot obtain the 10th grade Immortal King seal the first time. Moreover, he forgot that the character Wu Yu is also here now. Wu Yu was the one who truly surpassed all the immortals, ghosts, and gods. At this time, he once again saw something 10 steps away. When he reached this position, he was still able to do it with ease. After all, his realm had improved a lot. However, he still lowered his mentality. He knew deeply that even if he had seen it now, the distance was still very far. He should not be too excited now, but continue to move forward with a normal heart. This kind of progress can be said to be boring and long. Things that seem to be close at hand actually take a long time. But this time, Wu Yu clearly felt that even in such a deep place, the violent electric snake was threatening him. The influence is getting shallower and shallower. At some point, Wu Yu discovered that the distance between him and the thing seemed to have gotten closer. He might have walked thousands of steps, but now he seemed to be about 8 steps away from the thing. There is hope. Finally, there was a slight change, which gave him great hope, so he continued to move forward. In fact, it was difficult for others to reach the level he was now. Even the Lord of the Volcano Prison had actually been eliminated long ago. He didn't know how to drive. Soldeo Nightmare Technique, naturally depressingly found that although he was powerful, the distance he could advance in it was not as good as 1/3 of the immortal lords. Only 2/3, not as good as him. This hit him really hard. Bastard. Jade Emperor, what a bastard. This is just teasing me. No wonder Starry Sky Prisoner can't do it, Volcano Prisoner yelled angrily. However, he did not give up. He has the same idea as the king of Chakravartin: if someone gets it, he will intercept it from the outside. At this time, Wu Yu was only 3 steps away from the thing, and he felt that he could get it if he stretched out his hand. Of course, the pressure now is unprecedentedly huge. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Heaven Swallowing Record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1429. 3 steps. Wu Yu felt that he was very close. Even though the lightning snakes were bombarding him crazily, he held on tightly. After all, he knew that it was not easy to get to this place. We must hold on, otherwise all the previous efforts will be wasted. Moreover, this is the best opportunity. There will be more and more people coming next. If this place is directly closed by more powerful ghosts and gods, they will have no chance at all. 3 steps. He gritted his teeth and moved forward with all his strength. At this time, the electric snake had already drilled into his body and was raging crazily. Although the distance had not changed for a long time, he knew that if he persisted, it would change after all. Now he could vaguely see that it seemed to be a colorful bead. Maybe this was the 10th grade Immortal King seal. After all, no one knew what shape the 10th grade Immortal King seal would be. In fact, it could be any shape. 2 steps. Finally, it felt like he had finally moved forward a little. Wu Yu was excited. Maybe in the remaining step, he could reach out and take the colorful bead. Excited, thrilled. However, just 2 steps left, another cold water poured down. As he continued to move forward, he suddenly found that at this distance of 2 steps, in the other 2 directions of the colorful beads, Two figures appeared. One was a graceful woman, whose face was not clear. The other was a burly man, with a vast and ancient aura all over his body. Obviously, it was Moug and Gu Ru Shenjun. I didn't expect that they could come here for the first time. It seems that there is still a gap between me and them before. Of course, as the descendants of the four heavenly kings and the giant spirit god, it is normal for them to have such abilities. Wu Yu knew that at this time, they could see them and they could see him, which meant that everyone was not far away from the colorful beads. Obviously, there would be fierce competition among the three. If you are one step slower, you may regret it for the rest of your life. Under such circumstances, Wu Yu gritted his teeth and moved forward desperately. The other two were obviously like chicken blood, moving forward violently. At this time, even if they were seriously injured, they had to hold on here. Although there was still a distance of 2 steps, the other party's appearance gradually became clearer. Wu Yu could judge the distance between each person and the colored bead by the degree of clarity. At present, the distance between the 3 people was still about the same. If I had not devoured the Ghost King but the Immortal King, my power would be purer and I would have obtained this treasure now. Although the repulsion now was only a little greater than before, the accumulation of a little had already affected his speed and endurance. It can be seen that the other two were not only anxious, but also very confused. This strange immortal, who had never been heard of, why was he here? Why could he hold on to this extent? The Qingxian immortal lord that Wu Yu transformed into was even more ordinary. They didn't know him at all, and they didn't even have the slightest impression of him. To get to this position, even they themselves had made a lot of efforts. They knew very well how difficult it was to hold on to this place. The more difficult it was, the more shocked they were in their hearts, and they clearly felt that Wu Yu's speed was not slow either, and he might compete with them. For a moment, the 3 of them were moving forward as if they were risking their lives, regardless of any injuries on their bodies. Even if they were seriously injured, it was better than watching the treasure that was so close to them being snatched away by others. At this time, they were like crazy. In Wu Yu's eyes, the appearance of the 2 became clearer and clearer, and at this time he could basically see them clearly. The ancient god, Gu Ru, was domineering and fierce, with a heavy momentum, like a giant beast, while the demon Ug was cold and mysterious, unfathomable, and her eyes were like the night, and it was difficult to see any of her thoughts. However, at this time, the 2 were anxious, their eyes were fierce, and they were racing against time to move forward. It seemed that they were marking in place. In fact, in their eyes, Wu Yu was also marking time. The 3 of them were in their own small world, and they no longer cared about the people outside. In this place, they could no longer hear any movement outside. At this time, there were still immortals and ghosts entering continuously, but they had no chance. Even Siming Immortal Lord, Baby Immortal Lord and others could barely see the existence of that thing, but they could not see the 3 people appear near it. Wu Yu gritted his teeth and completely supported himself with his indestructible body. He then performed the magic of walking and even made his body smaller to gain a faster forward speed. But the 2 of them also used various means to speed up. In terms of means, these 2 proud sons of heaven were not much worse than Wu Yu. In order for them to get good results in Taixu Immortal Road, the heavenly King Chiguo and the giant spirit god must have helped them prepare a lot. If there was only 1 step left, they could basically reach out and touch it, but Wu Yu estimated that even if he reached out, it would not be easy. After all, even if there was only 1 step, who knew how far it was? 1 step. He was already very close, but he didn't expect that the other 2 were also close. Now the 3 of them were standing at a position that was almost within reach. If it was somewhere else, it would definitely be embarrassing to stand like this, but there was no such thing here. The 3 of them were reaching out, trying to grab the colorful beads, which could now be seen clearly. However, they could raise their arms, but when their palms were about to touch the beads, they actually passed through the beads and touched nothing. In fact, the hands of the three people were already in the same position, and it seemed that they were fused together, but Wu Yu did not touch them. Of course, they did not touch Wu Yu either. Wu Yu was not surprised. This showed that although the three of them were only one step away, the real distance was more than one step. The one step they saw now was actually quite far. It seemed that their palms overlapped with the 9-color beads, but in fact, they still had a long way to go. However, when their palms were placed in this position, they did not loosen. The three of them looked at each other, their eyes kept colliding, and then they were resisting, controlling, and restraining each other. Obviously, Wu Yu saw the Taixu artifact of the defense type in them, otherwise they would not have been able to resist here. Wu Yu fought purely with his body, which was the most shocking thing for the two. It was another round of wrestling. The Ghost King of the Will outside waited until he was anxious, but he didn't wait for Guruo Shenjun and Mouji. The Lord of the Volcano Prison was even more depressed. Every time he forced his way in, he failed. He could go a lot further if he caught an immortal king and rushed in, but he was still excluded in the end and didn't see anything. As for the other immortal kings, after several failures, they could only stand there when they came out. If they stood there, they might be killed by ghosts and gods, so they might as well escape inside. If I don't go in, is it possible that they will get the 10th grade Immortal King seal? Zi Mao's heart kept pounding. And in the core area of the 10,000 color thunder ball, after a period of wrestling, the three people confronted each other countless times, and finally at a certain moment, Wu Yu felt a wonderful feeling, that is, he was really close to the 9-color bead. He reached out and touched the 9-color bead. He held it tightly in his hand, which meant that he succeeded. At this time, he was a little confused, and he didn't have time to be ecstatic. After all, the surprise came too suddenly and was a little unexpected. After all, there are still these two strong competitors. The 10th grade Immortal King seal, got it, even Ming Long was a little bit unbelievable. After all, in imagination, this should be something that is quite difficult to get. It feels a little too easy. That is why, when this surprise came too suddenly, he was a little distracted. But, something happened immediately that made him even more distracted. That is, when he just saw the 9-colored beads in his hand clearly, he was shocked to find that the two people opposite him were also ecstatic at this time. They had almost the same process, because they just reached out to touch it, and then pulled it back, and they also had an extra bead in their hands. 3. The next moment, the three of them were stunned, looking at the things in the hands of the other two in shock. Judging from the expressions of the three people, they all thought they had obtained the 10th grade Immortal King seal at first, and then the next moment, they saw that the other two actually got it. Then, the position where the 9-colored beads were suspended before was empty. What exactly was going on, Wu Yu couldn't figure it out for a while. The other two actually tried to attack each other and snatch the 9-colored beads from their opponents, but when they attacked, they still found that they were too far away from each other. I thought we would eventually gather together, but are we still far apart, and took the 9-colored beads from different places? Now it seems to be nearby, but in fact it is far away. Not even in the same space. Wu Yu thought of so many things at this moment. I believe they thought of it too. This means that maybe what I got is not the 10th grade Immortal King seal itself, but the clue of the 10th grade Immortal King seal, or a fraction of it. A third. Sure enough, the test of the Jade Emperor would not be so simple. If it was so simple, it would be too easy for Gu Ru Shenjun and Mouji. In the ecstasy, suddenly found that they did not really succeed, no matter who it was, they would be very disappointed, but there was no way. Wu Yu himself felt that the 10th grade Immortal King seal came a little too fast, and it felt a little unreal. Now, at least he has obtained a very important part. Just as I was thinking this, and before I could adjust my mood, the colorful lightning ball suddenly changed, and Wu Yu and the other two were directly blown away. In fact, not only them, but everyone inside was ejected at once, and tens of thousands of people suddenly flew out. With such a sudden change, even the Will Ghost King would find it difficult to lock onto the ancient Ruo god and Moug in such a group of people. However, everyone suddenly discovered that three people had shining nine-colored beads in their hands, and as soon as they came out, they burst into a 1,000-foot-long light. Heaven-swallowing record. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1430. Wu Yu himself didn't expect that the nine-color beads would change like this the moment they came out. The burst of light was enough for everyone to see his face in that instant. Of course, his Qingxian immortal lord's face doesn't matter at all. The main reason why everything happened was that it came too fast. He had just gotten the nine-color beads and was still pleasantly surprised when he saw that the other two people also had them. Then in a moment of surprise, they were popped out and he had to put them away before he could get them. When the three of them hurriedly put away the beads that burst into colorful light, the light suddenly disappeared. However, at that moment, many people had already seen their appearance. It's the ancient Holmium god, the demon fairy. And the third person was not well known, and they couldn't recognize him for a while. They got the 10th grade Immortal King seal. Someone screamed. Suddenly everyone was shaken out, and three colorful beads suddenly appeared, and they hurriedly collected them. From all these signs, even if they did not directly obtain the 10th grade Immortal King seal, they would have gained the most. The colorful beads just now were so eye-catching, so without hesitation, all the immortals, ghosts, and gods surrounded and killed the three of them. Among them, they also include the Chakravartin Ghost King and the Volcano Prisoner who have been waiting for a long time. There are other Ghost Kings who are hiding and waiting for opportunities. Wu Yu was not worried, as he could leave the surroundings of these people in an instant, but he was curious, how could the ancient Holmium God Lord and Moug leave here alive in such a situation? After all, the scene is so chaotic now. Even if they are killed, no one knows who the murderer is. And there are so many cruel ghosts and gods. Although Wu Yu knew that he must snatch the things in their hands, but judging from the current situation, it would be even harder to snatch the other two in such a chaotic situation with so many powerful people. Even the vast majority of immortals, ghosts, and gods are targeting him. He was ready to leave. But at this moment, another unimaginable thing happened. That is, the thousands-colored thunder ball suddenly expanded, and all the densely packed electric snakes on it suddenly spread out. Billions of electric snakes instantly swallowed up all the surrounding immortals, ghosts, and gods. It just so happened that this was the time when everyone was attacking Wu Yu and the other three. Such a change disrupted everyone's rhythm. Even Wu Yu himself was swallowed up by those electric snakes. There were more electric snakes than initially estimated. This erupted, and from the outside of the star, the entire Chakravartin planet had been swallowed up, and was even expanding. In an instant, a thunder and lightning ball that was 10 times the size of the original Chakravartin planet was formed. There are dense electric snakes everywhere. Although the threat is not great, the problem is that it blocks the line of sight and is chaotic. In such an environment, it is even easier for Wu Yu to leave here. He wanted to snatch the 9-color beads from those two people, but Wu Yu didn't know where they were now. With their ability, they would definitely be able to escape in the chaos. Forget it, even if I don't look for them, they will definitely look for me. Although there is no way to be sure, but in this case, they will definitely think that the combination of 3 9-color beads is the real 10th grade Immortal King seal. Of course, 10 people would think so. Therefore, Wu Yu is not worried about not having the chance to meet them, they will definitely come to him. At that time, it will be your chance. Although it was a pity not to get the 10th grade Immortal King seal at once, Wu Yu also knew that if he could get 1/3, the situation would be quite good. After all, there are still more than 19 years left, and he is now one of the 3 people with the best chance. The other 2 people are Ancient Holmium God Lord and Moug, which is not unexpected. In the chaos, Wu Yu jumped several times and appeared outside the range of the electric snake. Looking at the Chakravartin that seemed to have expanded 10 times, he was naturally a little surprised. Now that something like this is happening and the news about the 10th grade Immortal King seal has spread, there will definitely be a large number of ghosts and gods coming in. There are even ghost kings or immortal emperor demons. After all, the attraction of the 10th grade Immortal King seal is quite big. Before, their target was Chakravartin, but after the current changes, their target is probably the 3 of us. It is estimated that the ancient Holmium god and Moug will hide, or even, they may hide. Can't stand it any longer. To be conservative, Wu Yu immediately changed his identity. He simply became a ghost and god, and no one recognized him. After all, the ghosts and gods will definitely suppress those immortal monarchs next. It is estimated that all the immortal monarchs will have to flee and hide. After all, this is the world ruled by ghosts and gods. The things the immortal monarchs did before because of the large number of people have been calculated. Past. Sure enough, when the thunder was raging, many immortal kings chose to leave for the time being, because they were not very united at this time, and those ghost kings would definitely settle accounts with them. Among this group, it is difficult to find the ancient Holmium God Lord and Moug, after all, the starry sky is too big. All the people dispersed. It was not until 3 days later that the lightning and thunder around the planet Chakravartin completely disappeared. The last burst of electric snakes did not actually damage the planet Chakravartin. After all the electric snakes disappeared, the planet Chakravartin except those that had cracked the trend of cracks and destruction has stopped. Although the environment has become harsh, people can basically still live in it, and the spiritual energy is still strong. In just these 3 days, a large number of ghosts and gods got the news and entered the starry sky hell. Now there are more and more ghosts and gods in the starry sky hell, but they have not come here yet. This chapter is not over, please click on the next page to continue reading. Wu Yu has heard about it. It is said that the 10th grade Immortal King seal was divided into 3 and obtained by 3 people respectively. Those 3 people are Moug, the daughter of the heavenly king Druta, Xuanhuan, the son of the giant spirit god, and an unknown person, the solitary Qingxian immortal lord. Now, both the immortal kings and the ghosts and gods have separated and are searching for the existence of those 3 people in the entire starry sky hell. Even the Chakravartin ghost king has left the Chakravartin king and is searching frantically, relying on his familiarity with the starry sky hell. Among them, immortal Lord Qingxian is said to be just an ordinary immortal lord of the 9 realms, with no strength or background. His hiding ability must be the worst, so the number of people looking for immortal Lord Qingxian must be the most. However, in fact, Qingxian immortal lord has been dead for a long time, and it is the most difficult for them to find him. I want to find the ancient Holmium God Lord and Moug and defeat them. This is Wu Yu's future goal. They shouldn't leave those beads everywhere, right? Wu Yu's bead is in the fusion tower. It seems that the bead is afraid that others will not know its existence. The 9-color light is too strong. If placed casually in the starry sky, the burst of light is now like a sun, which can illuminate the star field far away. So, don't think about finding a place to bury it, you simply don't dare to take it out. Wu Yu went in to study it, but it was still the same. He couldn't communicate at all, and he couldn't even analyze the material. Anyway, after thinking about it for several days, he found nothing. Maybe if we get the other 2, things can change. I believe that the setting of the Jade Emperor is obviously like this. After all, it seems very interesting. In fact, the million-color thunder ball requires the super genius of the 9 worlds immortal lord to get into the deepest place. Now he is worthy of such a title. Just the three of them, Wu Yu, and then let them each get one of them, and then let them play this kind of hiding and searching game. The geniuses will compete with each other in wits and courage, and finally they can collect three of them. For the final winner, if the Taixu Immortal Road is closed and no one can gather three, then it is obvious that all three of them will miss the 10th grade Immortal King seal. Then the next time Taixu Immortal Road opens, the rules of the game should change. Now, with these 9 color beads in my hand, I have a 1/3 chance. I don't have to worry, I can calm down. He came to the dark sinking star and found a residence here. Here he could find out the news about the entire starry sky hell, and there was no need to disturb him, so he felt quite comfortable. The current news is that Qingxian Immortal Lord, Ancient Holmium Divine Lord and Moug have almost completely disappeared, and it is difficult to find them in the entire starry sky hell. Now there are people looking for them everywhere in the entire dark star, and there are also portraits of the three of them, which are all very clear and can be seen at a glance. Because they are all immortals, Wu Yu transformed into a ghost and god, and almost no one looked down on him. He was also happy to be free and watch the situation change. According to his speculation, the other two were more anxious, probably hiding while looking for him. They actually know that the wheel-turning Ghost King has the soul-dispelling nightmare technique. Obviously, there may be forces from heaven to guide them here. However, when it comes to the 10th grade Immortal King seal, those people should not be able to personally help. Wu Yu could only guess this way. Otherwise, they wouldn't have known and wouldn't have been so careful. These two opponents were difficult to deal with, but the time was still long, so Wu Yu was not in a hurry. And there is more time in the floating life tower. If it can be stronger, then I will be more confident. He stayed in the fusion tower and practiced with Nanshan Wanjiao and the others. In fact, in this vast starry sky, even if everyone searched together, it was still difficult to find someone. He mainly cultivates magical powers, especially the heavenly, elephant, earth and somersaulting clouds. Wu Yu is eager to make progress in these two areas. Next, if the news here spreads again, I wonder how many Ghost Kings and Ghost Kings there will be in the entire starry sky hell in a year's time. Will all the powerful men in hell gather here? Wu Yu couldn't imagine it. Because the movement was really too big.